That's too high. That, ladies and gentlemen, was the very last piece. Welcome back to Lefty's Fabrication. We are working yet again on our Avenger race car project. It's coming along swimmingly, but I have a very, very short amount of time left before the first race. I have about 19 days left from right now until race day. So there's not a whole lot of time left, and we have a ton of work left to do. The biggest thing we have left is I need to finish the rub rails that go around the exterior of the car. The front bash bar, cow catcher, pusher, get out of my way, I'm coming through device is nearly complete, but there's nothing on the sides of the car, and there's nothing on the back. And to be honest, I don't know where to start. Do I do the side rails first, and then make the back fit what I build over here, or do I do the back first, and then figure out the sides from there? I think the best place to start would probably be the back, and then just make the sides work with the back, because that seems easier somehow. I don't really know, because I can't put the back together without the sides on the car. So if I partially build the back and then figure out the sides and then take the back apart, then build the sides, then put the back on, then sure. That seems like it'll work. I legitimately can't decide what to do, making the back first, the sides first. It's all a mystery to me. So why don't I just make them all at the same time? I'll make one that goes down the side, you know, and put a curve on the back. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side. That'll be part of the side and part of the back at the same time. It almost seems too easy. It's like throwing two stones at one bird. Because hindsight is at least perfect vision, I realize now that I should not have angled the top tube on the bash bar the way I did. So there's going to have to be a kink at the connection. It's just going to be, you know, a little bit... You know what? It's fine! I'm just going to weld it together and then... I can't do it that way. I'm an idiot.
Tell us something we don't know.
That was weird. I can't do it that way because of where the bracing needs to be. I can't believe I didn't think of that. Actually, I kind of can. But I'm going to have to do the same thing that I did to this side, to the other side, figure out how everything needs to go, and then work on the passenger side. Herein lies the issue with being able to put that piece of tubing where I wanted it before, because I need to brace right here in case it gets crushed so it doesn't ruin that little circular area. So what that means is I'm going to have to bend this piece of tubing right about here downward and then have it meet up with the rear bash bar bumper thingy. Winston! Hi, Winston. You can see there's quite a bit of a difference between the rub rail and the bumper. It's about that much. I don't know how much that is. I haven't measured it. I just need to find out what the angle of my bend needs to be and where I want to bend it from so that I can make these two match up. I have had an absolutely genius moment and decided to use this 2x4 as my angle measuring device. I drilled a 2-inch hole in one corner. I can just set this over, you know, set it over the bar at the back of the car, and then set this end where I want it, measure the angle. I'm really, really smart. Also, if anyone's like, why did you ruin a perfectly good 2x4? Well, it said mean things to me on the playground, and this is how I deal with my problems. Now I should be able to take this, measure. I now have both sides of the car bent up. They're just, you know, dangling there, not doing anything. Next step is I need to figure out exactly how wide the back of the car is so I can bend up the top of my rear bumper, push me out of the way bar thing. And then we can figure out mounting the sides to the car itself at the roll cage and right here and possibly up there somewhere. There's so much left to do and I have so little time. Oh my goodness, what did I do? I'm seriously gonna have to hustle. This is a lot of work and you never think it's gonna be until you get down to like the last 2 weeks of something and you're like, ah! I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be out here every night this week. Sorry, dear. Love you. That worked out just about as well as it could have. Good thing I know how to use a measuring tape. We are well within our 2 inches away from the body there, and the same on the other side. That one's actually touching. I'll have to cut the rub rails to match the piece of the bumper I just made, and we can kind of sort of mock them up, but I need to be able to mount the side pieces before I can weld that bar on. Ugh. This place is starting to get messy again. I need to fix it. That's what happens when I start to stress out about getting stuff done. I quit putting things away. Definitely need to do some cleanup. Get on there. These things are awesome. If you don't have one, you should get one. I use it a lot. Because why just buy a blade for your big bandsaw and cut things straight when you can use one of these and make everything take twice as long as it's supposed to? I don't know. I like torture. Ah! Man, I'm strong. Now I need to figure out how to put this one in over here and over here. What if I were to wiggle that one in? Now that I have these 3 tubes connected together, I can finally figure out where my mounting points are, because that is the next step before I can weld this tubing all together. I started lining this one up, but that's not going to work because the tube ended up in a different spot. This position also ended up at a different height than I was originally planning on, but now I can actually open the gas door. So I'm just going to leave it there. We'll just have 1, 2, 3 spots to figure out on each side. Then we can get this tube welded to this tube, and then we can weld all 3 of those tubes to here, here, and here on both sides, and then we're maybe we're halfway done. That's being extremely optimistic. I have no idea how close to done I really am. I have more things to add to the car because this one tube is not going to do it. I need to add something that swoops down. Yeah, something like that to protect the bottom here. And I'll have to double check the rules, but I'm pretty sure I can do 3 tubes horizontally along the body. One thing I neglected to do while I was welding the doors shut was add another piece of steel down here where the door meets the rear quarter panel. You know, the other side I did one big piece of flat bar, and I don't know why I wasn't smart enough to figure out that I needed to do that on this side. Where's my cap? Found it. It went a long ways. Come on now. Almost got my toe. It's time to drill some holes in the car. And I don't mean little ones. Oh, that's stinky! Somehow, I successfully cut a hole in the inner door skin without, unaliving myself on accident. That was not an easy task. I tried to film it and it just didn't work out. So, you'll just have to imagine what it went like. It was something akin to, ow! Now that these are done, we can start working on the plates on the front door, because that's really the majority of what we have left before we can put the side tubes back on, and then do some measuring for the mounting pieces. Now that I've got the plates welded on each side, I can put the rub rails that I have already made back on temporarily because I gotta make some measurements. Take, make. God, that welder is loud! I have zero patience and that fan runs forever! Get in there! Yeah! I got all my pieces cut out. They came out okay-ish, well enough. These ones are for the driver's side, these ones are for the passenger side. And I know that because I wrote it down right here. Dun dun! Everything you see on this car is finally at least tacked together. Every single piece on here. Oh, it's looking good. Got that tacked? Yep, that's tacked. It's all sorts of secure. The only thing I haven't done yet is added this piece to right there, and that is because I need to add a plate to the door. Specifically this big plate. I have to have this for safety and because the rules say I do. So, I need to put this on to the door first, and then I'm going to add that little piece over there on top of that. I don't 100% know how I'm going to do it, but I know I want the plate to be touching the door skin, and that's as much of a plan as I have. One major flaw that I accidentally built into my last car was that the plate for the driver's door was away from the door skin, and I needed to put a frame around it to make it safe, sort of. Anyway, that made a vertical bar right here. And that was a perfect place for people to hook the front end of their car onto and push me. And I didn't appreciate that very much, so I'm not gonna do that this time. This time I'm putting the driver's door plate right up against the driver's door outer skin and have the tubes away from that. That way there's nothing for other people's cars to grab onto, because that's just an advantage for them, and I would like to give them as few of those as possible. We're gonna get to the driver's door plate later, because honestly, it's on the wrong side of the car. This side has all the access and better lighting. So now I need to decide, am I gonna do the side of the car first, or am I gonna do the back of the car first? I say we just move on to doing the side. What I'm thinking for the side is just to come down, make a bend, go all the way across the bottom, make a bend to go back up to the other side. It's about the simplest way to do it. And then I believe the rules say I can do 3 bars per side this year. So I could do an intermediate one. I need to check the rules. Reading from the official rules of Trash Car. Exo cage, rub rails. All exo cages, including driver door bars, materials will be mounted no greater than 2 inches from the widest point of the car. Maximum allowable tube/pipe size is 1/8 inch wall, 2 inch outside dimension. 3 bars are allowed around the perimeter. Yeah! In a horizontal pattern, front to back, back to front. Sweet! It is official, and I kind of knew it already, but I was a little bit foggy, so it never hurts to brush up on the rules. I'm not going to add one to the front, and I'm not going to add one to the back. 2 is plenty, but the side, these doors are big, man. Like, I don't know what Dodge's idea is. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like it. But Dodge makes their, their bodies real big and their windows real small. That's cool. Keep it. Keep doing that. It's fine. But that means I got a lot of door to protect. So I'm going to plan on, 1, 2, 3 bars on each side of the car. That's fantastic. It does equal more work, which is scary because time is a real thing. Would you look at that? I got it all mocked up. I think it looks pretty good. I like it. So, I'm going to leave it right where it's at. I am going to add a bar in between the top bar and the bottom bar because I feel like that's a lot of space for somebody's front bumper to go, "Hoo-yah!" and put a big old dent in my door. And I don't really like that. So, because the rules say I can, I'm going to add one. But before I do any of that, I need to take this tube back off and copy it for the driver's side, and then we can put this back on, get it all welded up, do the thing, and then move on to the driver's side. I just finished making the duplicate for the driver's side, so now I can take this tube, I think it's that one. Anyway, put it back up here and figure out where all my mounting positions are going to be. I know that I want to mount it to the roll cage, through the door, yet again, and right here. I don't think I'm going to mount it anywhere back here, because there's really nothing to mount to. Man, it's getting hot in here. That's okay, I've been freezing up until just now, so I'll take it. Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that the main hoop of my roll cage is perfectly level. I don't know if it is or not, but I'm gonna hope and pray, because I don't really know any better. But if I line my level up, the edge of the hole I made, that should be the edge of the hole. Measure 1 inch down from there, 1.5 inches over from that. I may have screwed up. Ruh-roh, Reggie! I made a boo-boo. The hole I just drilled in my door is way too low. So that means that the brace I have to put in is going to go up at an angle towards the roll cage. Why I didn't think of that before, I don't know. I'm gonna have to deal with that, and I don't know whether to change the driver's side to make it so I don't have to deal with that, or just do the same thing on the driver's side. But now I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. I've made a boo-boo. I got the brace tacked into the roll cage. It's just touching the tube on the outside right now. I will admit that the hole modification I had to do is a little bit embarrassing. But I know what I did wrong, so I will do the right thing on the other side, and it'll be slightly less embarrassing in that one particular spot. Now that I've figured out that dumpster fire, I'm going to make a piece for right here that looks the same as this one up here, and then get this all tacked together and put in the middle bar. This side will be done-ish enough for now, and then we can move on to the other side. Whew! Right up there. Alright, now that I've got the passenger side done, I've flipped the car around so we can work on the driver's side a little bit easier. The driver's side is going to look just like the passenger side with the addition of a plate over the driver's door, like I've been saying. And that's the first thing I need to do is figure out exactly where that's going to go and how I'm going to mount it, because I've never done it this way before and I have no idea how I'm going to do it, because the door is curved and the plate is not. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to curve it or if I'm just going to have to deal with the fact that it doesn't curve. There she is! And I've got it upside down. Okay, here's my plan. It's not very well thought through because I just came up with it literally right now. So what I've done is I laid the top of the plate against the door skin, and I want to weld this plate to the plate that's up front here and the plate that's right here. And then, with any luck, take some clamps under the car and squeeze the plate until it's where I want it. I don't care what bends. I don't care if it's the door skin or the plate. Something's got to give because I need this to be that way quite a bit. I truly don't know if this is going to work or not because I've never done it before. But if I only weld here and here and it doesn't work, I can always cut it off later and then come up with a new plan. Any objections? Huh. I don't know if this is going to be as easy as I thought or way harder than I thought. So I'm going to stop thinking about it. It's working! Sort of! Ah! You stay on there. I really don't know if this is gonna work. I need more clamps. I ended up just tacking all 4 of them to the plate because they kept sliding off. What happens if I can't get it there? I didn't really think about a plan B. I'm hearing a lot of noises I don't want to hear. Crunchy, stepping on popcorn type noises. Ta-da! I think it looks pretty good. I couldn't get the bottom squoze into the car quite 100%, so I did have to add some extra plates in there to fill the gap. It's on there pretty solid. I welded as much as I could to the door here, and then what I did over here is I pushed the fender in as far as I could and welded the back side of the plate to the front of the door and that plate that was already welded to the door. So the front's nice and strong. And then I pulled the fender back out and welded it wherever I could, all the way down to the bottom. So she's solid, not going anywhere. And then when I put the next piece of tubing on, not only will that be welded to the roll cage, but I will add some little pieces here and there to make sure that this plate stays put, and that piece of tubing should hold it there as well. Now that we've got her all welded on there, I think it's time to continue the progress. Let's put that piece of tubing on, make the middle piece, and then do the back. Sure. I'm running out of time, starting to get a little bit anxious. If you can't tell, it's the next day. Sometimes you run out of time. But the driver's side is buttoned up well enough that we can finally start working on the rest of the rear bumper. We are in the home stretch, and thank goodness, because anxiety is like up to my eyeballs. I'm swimming in it. This part should be fairly simple. I'm just going to copy the top tube, you know, what I did there, and then do some sort of angle up towards the top tube, and then I'm probably going to call it good. Right. 4 bends, 1 tube, done. Well, there it is. It looks big. This thing has got some serious birthing hips, but I couldn't really go any smaller because I really wanted to protect the rear tires, and it probably won't look as small when I cap the ends of the bumper. It might fill it in a little bit so it doesn't look quite so bulky, but it's there. It's as good as it's gonna get. That, ladies and gentlemen, was the very last piece I needed to put on this car to get it race ready. I'm so proud of myself. I've been waiting for this moment for literally months, and here we are. The race is literally in a week from now, but we're gonna make it. There are still things to do to the car. Don't get me wrong. I still got a bunch of stuff to do, but they're little tiny things. The big stuff is done. And now, because all of the fabrication on the car is done, I have the absolute pleasure of welding out everything on the outside of this car that I have added to it. Oh boy, howdy am I excited. I'm gonna be here for a couple of hours, but it's still a proud moment for me. So, without any further ado, here's a time lapse of me suffering. We did it! I'm very tired. It took 2 hours of non-stop welding, and it's midnight. I'm ready to go to bed. But you know what? It's all welded out. This car, fabrication-wise, is done. I cannot be more pleased. I really couldn't be. This has been a seriously epic adventure. This is my first time building a full car for Trash Car, and I don't know what else to say other than I'm happy about it. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate it very, very much. See you next time. Alrighty then. Good night.